Alright, so the last two weapons in fantasy are the Katana versus the Parrying Dagger. Now, I've talked about the Katana a lot in reference to other weapons because, in my opinion, it is still the number one melee weapon. You could argue that the shield is better because it allows you to block bullets and a couple of other things, but absolutely these two are the best in the game. Obviously, if you look over here, then you have blue gun and yellow gun as best in their respective fields, and then if you want light ammo, then obviously the SMG is where to go. But let's look at the other contender. The Parrying Dagger is pretty alright, but compared to this, really nothing. And the reason why that is all along this blade there are multiple damage points, or points that can damage enemies. So all you need to do is slide the blade along them and they die pretty much instantly. The sword is a little heavy, definitely, but it's still very usable in one hand. Let me show you, because thanks to Arthur Ford's amazing wrist strength, I say as I instantly die, it makes it really easy to just run past enemies like this, and then it hits them, slides along, deals damage, all of that. I would not suggest stabbing with the katana, but you don't really need it. Oh my goodness. Well, I got obliterated that round. Let me try that again. I'm just talking too much about the katana and not paying enough attention. So, as I said, because of wrist strength in the game, you can just run past enemies like this, and then the katana blade will just face forward. Don't hit enemies with the back edge, but aside from that, it is quite good at dispatching enemies because of that. Guess I just need to be a bit more patient and let them actually go into the arena this time. As you can see, it's quite good. It's also good with those wannabe combine guys. It's decent with crablets, but with those guys you do have to go for a stabbing attack to get the head off, but that's the same for any weapon. Any melee weapon, that is. Oh, that's another strategy. I was trying to think of what other things to talk about with the katana, but yeah, spinning is actually pretty good with the katana, because then you're slashing multiple enemies with the edge forward. And of course, if your hand is on the wrong part, or if for some reason my headset just died for a couple of seconds, which was very odd. I will have to check into that, but as far as the video is concerned, no problem. Yeah, katana, excellent weapon. Now, let's go to the Parrying Dagger, which isn't bad from what I remember, I just don't use it much. Yeah, there's no way I can deflect those with this. I think the only thing you can really do with this guy is stab. So try to get headshots. Just like with the baby sword from last time. Better with dispatching crablets than baby sword was. But yeah, daggers, knives are pretty good in the game. If it were going up against anything else, it'd probably win, but yeah, see, it's quite good too. But against katana, there's really no contest, even though it is doing better than I expected, to be fair. Also, a nice thing about these weapons in the game is because they're closer to your wrist, which means that you in real life can index, I think it's called, your weapon a lot better and more smoothly than relying on the physics of the game to do it for you. So that also means that your reaction times are a bit better because instead of worrying about a whole blade to move, you don't. You can just basically move this one as quickly as you want within reason, which makes it really nice for precise attacks. Because obviously you always do the best when you're aiming using your actual hands and wrists and everything, opposed to some mechanic in game. But yeah, I am surprised at how well the Parrying Dagger is working. And I call it a Parrying Dagger because of this little crossguard here. Yeah, I should probably move, that way I don't get ganged up on. That being said, not doing too badly. Yeah, jumping can also help, because that way the enemy's head is right where your hand normally is, opposed to a bit higher. So that's one tip for daggers and knives. Yep. Quite a good weapon. I would say not equivalent, but just a bit below Katana, actually. Doing quite a good job as well. Oh, also, another thing with Katana, aside from spinning being a good idea, is that you can use the end of the Katana to better dispatch with these guys. Because again, it's closer to your wrist. All the aiming stuff that I was just talking about with the Parrying Dagger applies because it's close to your wrist. Okay. Oh yeah, and definitely spin the Katana like a little flourish. That way the Katana has less chance of getting stuck on an enemy. And also you have a higher chance of like accidentally hitting an enemy, which is always good. Yeah, let's see what else. It is pretty decent as a thrown weapon, actually. From an early Boneworks video of mine, I showed throwing the katana, and it's actually fairly decent. I need to kind of remember how I did that again, but yeah, it's actually not a bad thrown weapon because this edge is so large, and as long as you throw it like this, it'll spin forward, so you don't have to worry about this back half of the blade hitting anything. Wait, what? It is a rather large weapon, though. But yeah, as you can see, fairly decent. Okay, he's hiding behind a thing there, but Katana also has a chance of returning to your hand with reverse grip, which is obviously not what you want, but you can always toss it on the ground and pick it up again. But, oh wow, I definitely need to remember how to throw katanas. So feel free to watch that previous video if you want to see actually decent katana throwing, I guess. It has been several months since I practiced, several months. Might actually be over a year by now. But still quite an excellent weapon. Okay, that guy helped me there. Yeah. The good thing, or the only good thing I would say about accidentally getting in reverse grip is that even though it seems cooler, it's not any better really. But it is nice when you're trying to stab crablets. Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, when you're trying to stab crablets since they're on the ground, and the katana is long enough to actually reach them. And you can hold the blade, which is kind of cool. But yeah, that way they're right there. And you don't have to like bend down to slash. Obviously slashing, you have a higher chance of hitting them, but if they're right there, it's kind of nice to just be able to occasionally reverse grip and stab down. Also, since you can hold this, you can kind of pretend like it has a sheath, and you can do that with, I think, the normal swords as well, or the European swords as well. No? Okay, I guess you can only do it with the katana. To like pretend that you have a sheath, and then ta-da. Bit goofy with the physics, but regardless. Yeah, one last thing though is in the other zombie warehouse arena. This is absolutely a weapon that you want to grab, so I'll show you where it is. It's on top of one of the spawning platforms, and it is definitely essential. Let's just do survival, I guess. Doesn't matter, sure. So I believe it's on top of here. And it is an excellent weapon for this game mode specifically. Nope, it's not. Okay. It's on top of one of these, so in the process of me checking all of them, you're sure to find out where it actually is. Maybe it's this one. I'm pretty sure all the weapons spawn in the same place. Yep, on top here, you have the katana. And that is absolutely a good weapon to use, especially when you're saving ammo, like in survival. But aside from that, that's about it.